Welcome to Deep Thought, seeing through the veil of society. What is the veil? Many things out here are an illusion, and it's created by just numerous things, but we don't see what's on the surface. Now, on my main men's channel, I've talked often about the sexual shadow world. You definitely don't see that. But then those denizens of the shadow world, if you were to see them in public, they would probably look like the most laid back, calm people. But it's not who they really are. And that's just one example, albeit an extreme example, but still. There's so many things that happen out of sight. So many things. And I'm gonna tell you what, part of the thing is the media. What does the media promote? And not just the mainstream media as far as the news, but also the entertainment. The entertainment promotes certain things, but even social media. I want you to think about something. Social media have you thinking people just living large, you know, driving fancy cars, everything like that. And all they did was take a picture by some car. You notice they never show the license plate. You know, they'll blur it out. You know, they say, well, just be in private. When they really blurring it out because it has a dealer tag on it. You know, or you know how people present themselves. I mean, even then, let's think about social media. Think about it for a second. How many people are using filters? I mean, you even got filters can make it look like you got like a cut up body and everything. You know, how many people you don't really see their blemishes? You know, there was an actor, who was it? I think it was Jamie Foxx, you know, after his health emergency, and he did a video, and I was just like, I didn't know he had so many freckles. Now, you know, we all have blemishes and stuff, but, you know, think about when we see like actors and everything, they present it a certain way, but then if you see them in the real world without that makeup, without the lighting, they don't look the same. But it still presents an illusion, you know? Because we think, you know, our subconscious takes in everything as if it's real. We can watch a movie with someone flying through the air, and yeah, consciously we know it's some bow, it's good CGI, hopefully, hopefully, but it's an illusion. In fact, with AI now and how they can mimic people with the technology now, there's a real concern over people like doing, you know, those deep fakes and everything, you know, switching up everything. All of that is a veil. All of that is a veil. And the thing is, stuff can be hidden. And I'm going to tell you what, part of it is people want to see certain things. Many people, they can see stuff right in front of them and still don't see it because they don't want to see it. They don't want to see it, or they have a certain belief system. Like, I give you an example. I use a racial one, right? I can use a racial one. You know, a black man. A black man. Now, if someone has a bias against black men, even within the black community, they're going to see something. Now, if he stands up, there's a certain situation where he can be very calm and assertive, but still assertive. He might be seen as being wild, being angry, something like that. Yet if you were to objectively listen to him and watch his behavior, he's just stating his position on something. So someone can see that because of the mask that they are affixing onto him, you know? Whereas someone else, if their mask is that behavior is totally normal and totally heroic, totally something to be admired, that's just what they're going to see. So, you know, that's part of the veil, what we're programmed to see, what we're programmed to think, but also what we choose to see ourselves. Because we all have our false beliefs about ourselves, but also about the world. That's why you can have two people, you can have like 100 people look at this same video. You can have 100 people look at this same video, this one right now, and people are going to have different opinions about it. And they're going to try to judge my personality based on it. you know. Interesting enough, you know what? I had a video a while ago and somebody was asking me about that, what is that, Myers-Briggs test. What was my, what personality type that I had on it. And I didn't even bother answering the person because they actually said, well, okay, I have a good idea what it is. I just want to confirm it. And I was like, okay, this is somebody who's trying to figure it out stuff. But if they have an idea, all they're doing is projecting whatever their beliefs are. Because, and honestly, if anybody really cares, I get a different thing on there every single time I take it. Every single time. Every single time. And in fact, I read just about that, and that could be part of the veil too. Some personality, some self-administered personality test trying to tell you something. That could be part of the veil. That can program somebody to think, oh, this is me. They read something, oh, this is me. Well, I do this, this, and this. And every single time I've taken that particular test, every single time I get something different. And several other, I've checked online, several other people have too. That's not consistent. That's not consistent. Only way someone to know me, they have to be around me. They would have to be a very, very close friend. It would probably be, to truly know me, it'd have to be a woman who was in an intimate relationship with me for a long time. So the only person that could honestly say they know me is my co-parent, only person on the planet. And the reason why I'm using that for an example is because that's part of the veil. When we'll let something outside of ourselves tell us what we think. Now you can get a general idea, but ultimately you got to really see through the veil to see it. Like if you're looking at somebody, you got to take your biases out. You got to take your prejudices out. You got to take whatever you got to be able to look at something as objectively as possible. It's really, I ain't gonna say it's impossible, but I want to meet the individual that can be totally objective. Because usually they can't. We're all going to bring our biases, who we are, into anything. And how something makes us feel, our thoughts about something. Best you can do is get a general idea about something. A general idea. And even then, it can throw you off. In fact, I'm going to kind of get into that in the next episode. But the thing is, if you look at that, and I use that, I actually got into that example. I got into that example because that's how deep it is. You have forces in society. It could be the education forces, the propaganda that they call history. Because, okay, let me use that for an example. All history isn't taught. I lost count of how many times, okay, you go through school or something, you have an idea about the general history. I lost count how many times. This is coming from a history major. I might have read some book, somebody who did more research, and they'll talk about something I never knew before. And then if I decide I want to check it, I'll check their footnotes, and it's like, one, you find out they were telling the truth. This really did happen. But, you find out some other stuff. I ain't mentioned that before about the Tulsa Race Massacre back in 1921. I ain't mentioned it. I knew about that in the 90s. Now, it's just a recent thing. People really know about it, but that's an example, of history putting a veil over your propaganda, religions, media. They put a veil over it, usually to serve the needs of real power. But the thing is, you have to gradually learn how to see through it. See what's actually there. Not what your biases tell you is there. Not what anybody else. What do you actually see in front of you? Like I give you one. I've used this before, but I remember I was in the 5th grade, right? And I didn't know any of these kids. I'm starting a new school. And this one kid said, I can beat everybody in the school. That's part of a veil right there. He can beat everybody in the class. I believed the veil. I didn't know any better. But then I remember, I never forget, he got in a fight with this other kid. The other kid was whipping his ass. And then I was like, well, no, he can beat everybody. He can beat everybody in the class. And everybody looked at me and was like, but that's how deep it is. one of the things we all have to learn, all of us, myself included, and trust me, it's tough. It's seeing through the veil. What's really there? What's really there? Not what you want to be there in your heart. Because trust me, like relationships, oh man, that's a whole other conversation right there. People see something in somebody that they want to see instead of what's actually there. Men and women do that. Instead of what's there, what they want, they see what they want. That's part of the veil. So to see through it, you have to just search for truth. You have to like think in terms of truth, what's actually there, even if it hurts. Even if it hurts, that's the only way. And sometimes, let's just be real, a lot of times it's going to hurt. But you have to focus on seeing through everything, seeing through the illusion. All right? So anyway, something for y'all to think about today. And I'll get back with y'all later. Peace and blessings.